Welcome back and thank you for staying with All Angles. Now, the shooting of rapper AkA and his friend Tibbs Mutswane was captured on CCTV. But how easy is it for authorities to use this evidence to make arrests and get convictions? Well, let's speak to Calvin Rafadi. He's a senior forensic investigator. He's with us in studio. Mr. Rafadi, thank you very much for your time. We all saw the CCTV footage that has made the rounds and been shared over and over again on social media. Is it usable to get suspects at least?
Yeah, thanks for the invite. You know, first of all, we must put it into clarity that how the footage was obtained is also questionable. Now, when you prepare a case for court, the first thing they ask you, how was the information obtained? Now, we've seen in many instances whereby footage is been spread to your Twitter handles, your YouTube, and other gossip channels, which is very, very unlawful when it comes to if you are a shop owner or the manager or you are a security company. There are certain ways that the police, they should obtain a CCTV footage from the particular scene of crime. Because if you distribute it like that, then it's tampering with evidence. And besides, it can even alert the other parties that they should be aware and cautious. Like we've seen on this particular footage, where the suspect touched a pole before he has shot two of our brothers. Now, if he left the fingerprints there, what will the accomplices do? They will eradicate him so that he doesn't implicate them. So what I'm saying is how the footage is obtained, and it's very, very crucial for court purpose, and also how, the gathering of the evidence, because the police, they have to subpoena, or they have to do what we call a section 212 to get a statement from the IT guy who's going to be downloading the particular CCTV footage. So it's more of tampering of evidence when the footages are spread around like that.
So basically we might have actually, as South Africans and those who spread it on social media, etc., from the source itself, we might have actually tempered with the case, and it might be that we are to blame if it is a cold case.
Yes, I wouldn't call it us to be blamed, because many people, layman person wouldn't know, because there's a difference, like I said, when an ordinary citizen takes a video footage and distributing it, and there's a difference between a security official who's serial registered or a shop owner, a manager who distribute the very same footage, but it is prohibited. One should follow the rules so that this thing can stand in court. It can be legally obtained, because it's more of tampering of the evidence. So we urge the citizens, if they've got such footages, not to spread it around. And in closing, what I can say, the person who has initially distributed that particular footage to be out there in the public must be charged with gross negligence, because also it's a very sensitive for our kids who love our artists. They see underage kids, they even saw this particular videos because they are on social media. It's also disturbing and the upbringing of our kids as well. So it is very wrong for people to distribute such context. And the person who has initially distributed this particular, because normally what they do is they distribute this particular context of CCTV footage for the purpose of making money. Like I say, they send it to gossip channels of social media so that whenever people click, they can make more money, or they sell it, or it is very, very prohibited that people must distribute such audios.
So what would you advise the IO right now who's busy with this case and is looking at the CCTV footage? Can he still use it?
Yes, he can still use it, but obtaining it legally so.
Okay.
So what the IO, once they've got a docket, because I believe now it's transferred to a provincial detective yesterday, as they said, organized crime, they need to go with a docket to where the footage, they can obtain the footage. Then either they subpoena through section 205 of the Criminal Act 1997, or they will write a statement, and then whosoever uploads the video has to make an affidavit, which is a 212 statement, so it stands at court. So even the defense, one day, let's say we arrest the suspect, they don't come with a defense that is being fabricated, it is not them on the footage, or issues like that. So that's why I'm saying the tampering of evidence, the collection of the evidence, the safekeeping is very important for court purpose.
Now, you've seen the video, right? And you know, a lot of people were not seeing the second assailant who seemed to be behind that white kumbi, etc. Is it possible at all when you look at it? I know that you have to pause it, and it's a tedious task for police officers. Sometimes you take more than 24 hours, right, to try and see if you can make up a face. But is it possible for that very first assailant, the one who actually shot AkA in the back, is it possible at all to be able to identify him or get witnesses who can see how he moves to say, no, man, I know this person?
Look, with the footage, what happens is the IT gurus or the IT employees, even at subs, they've got a digital IT personnel. So what they do, they zoom in every footage. They'll zoom it closely so that they can actually get the actual face of the person. But, you know, just for an advice, for the police also to crack such matters, I think they need also now to dispatch resources like your cell phone dumps to determine who was in the area and are they always in that area, or what numbers were they using. So they've got those particular systems, but we hope justice will be served in this space, and they can match even the face of the suspect once he's arrested, that also to place him on a scene of crime through the cell phone, like I said, with the cell dumps. Then we can get justice in this particular case.
Well, my last question, Mr. Rafadi, is that, you know, usually South Africans, because we've seen that there is CCTV footage, people would expect that an arrest is made quite soon and that there will be two people who are in orange overalls, and maybe even more, because politicians and everybody believe that that was a clear hit. Just first of all, do you think it was a clear hit looking at that footage?
No, definitely it was a clear hit. And, you know, with a clear hit, what I normally also advise in the security cluster is a clear hit is planned prior. So I'm sure crime intelligence, they will gather some of the information so that they can work hand in hand with the detectives to determine who planned this thing, who are the perpetrators. But definitely it was a clear hit. It was not an incident. It was not of a robbery. Because if it is a robbery, they could have taken their cell phones or, you know, even the car keys or laptops around there, like we've seen. I think it was yesterday in Greystone off-ramp. Yes, that was just a robbery. Yeah. But a clear hit, they go for the head, they target, and then they make sure the person died.
Close range even, and then they ran away after that.
Then they ran away.
But my last question, initially I had said that it's my last question, I know. What would you say to South Africans as someone who's a forensic investigator, a senior one at that, if, for instance, after 2 years, we still have no answers, but there's CCTV footage? Obviously, people would expect that there's a conviction soon because the footage is there. You know, is it fair of us to expect, I think it is fair of us to expect police to make an arrest because crime is rampant in this area, but are we expecting too much of these SAPs?
Well, we are, but, you know, to be quite honest with you, there are good police and good detectives as well, but they are under-resourced. I mean, we've seen in most of the detectives, they'll be using one car, and the other one has to go to court, the other one has to go and fetch the DNA. I mean, we still have a backlog of the DNA. I'm not sure if it was announced because the deadline was end of January. But what I'm saying, they are under-resourced. But for court purpose, like I said, you need to place the person on a scene of crime. You need to find the instrument used, which is a murder weapon. Upon arrest, they must confess the murder weapon, and then you place them on a scene of crime, either through a cell phone or identification through the parade, and also quantified by the CCTV footage. Then you can get a conviction in this space.
Well, good luck to the investigating officer and his team in this particular case, because South Africans will definitely be watching. Thank you very much for coming into studio and speaking to us, Mr. Calvin Rafadi. He's a senior forensic investigator, just speaking to us about whether or not we'll be able to see a conviction after the CCTV footage doing the rounds showing AkA and his associate Tebello being shot dead on Florida Road in Durban.